This video will show you how I design characters and how you can make one as well. Stay tuned for my tips and tricks. My name is Will and today we will make a character together. At the beginning of your process, you are going to need an idea. Now, most of us don't even think about making a character without an idea, and ideas are honestly not that hard to get. You just think about what could potentially be interesting for your character. In my case, since I am making a Genshin-inspired character, I already knew that I wanted them to be from Fontaine, since I haven't designed characters from there yet. I liked the idea of them wearing a suit, and everything else was still up to the stars. Then it is time for research. This part very much relates to what time period you want your character to be from, if you want them to be from a fantasy world, or what kind of clothing style you want them to have. I already know that my character will be from Fontaine, which is supposedly inspired by France. We've only seen a couple of characters from there, so I'm kind of trying to date back when in the real world it would have been acceptable to wear these clothes. This is literally Dottore, like, I'm not even making this shit up. Do you see this? Okay, but in all seriousness, I think this is really as close as we're gonna get, so we're gonna make a dandy character, and it's gonna be a woman. Personally, I like to grab a bunch of references that kind of relate to the character, and I don't know much about this lady, but she's gonna be dripped out as hell, man. Also, I felt like she might be into fencing, and I found out about half-naked women fencing back in the day. If you've watched any of my other design videos, you already know what step is next. Thumbnails. I copy and paste a bunch of bodies, and then really quickly sketch some clothes on top. It's just about the shape, not about the details, just so we can decide what we like and what we dislike. In this case, I really liked the ideas where she was wearing a suit and had a big cape for a strong silhouette, but I didn't like the ideas that looked too feminine because I wanted her to look very dominant. I also wanted most of her skin to be covered because a lot of the Genshin women are pretty much half naked and I just wanted to do something different. I also occasionally like to check in with the people on my Discord and ask them for their opinion, especially when I'm stuck. Shameless plug, go check out our Discord. Then I pick my favorite thumbnails and make a bigger, more detailed thumbnail, which will be the basis for my sketch. The sketching process may look very simple, but there's a lot of thought going into how I define shapes, what patterns I use. For example, I'm adding a lot of spiky patterns into her design and even the fur, just so she looks more sharp and dangerous. As a contrast, I actually wanted her face to look very soft and elegant. If you're struggling with faces, I actually have a little tutorial for that, so if you're interested, I will link it below. I really wanted her to have that air of confidence around her. Like, you know, she knows what she's doing, and she's not gonna let anyone tell her what to do. To convey this, I essentially gave her a fancy suit, which is already associated with people in positions of power. I think the fur probably also amplifies that a little bit, since fur is seen as something luxurious. But it also makes her look a little cold, which if you think about it, is pretty fitting. Also, having most of her skin covered makes her look very secretive and like she doesn't really want to let you on what she's really feeling. I think this is a good time to mention that this character right here will be an adoptable, meaning that you will be able to buy her and then use her as your own character. The auction will be held on Instagram as soon as the video is up, so if you're interested in buying her, please check out my Instagram. Somewhere in the middle of all of this, I also designed her sword, keeping in mind to reflect the basic design elements that make her unique. I will say I don't have that much experience designing weapons, but I still think it came out really nice and I'm very happy with how it looks. Then it is time for the flat colors. For me, this is mostly about trying stuff and then seeing if it looks good or not. If you're a beginner, you should definitely look into some color theory, because it takes a trained eye to kind of do this automatically. A good tip for this would be to look up color palettes that you like on the internet, maybe choose some pictures where you think the colors look nice, and definitely don't go for too many colors at once. Funnily enough, her color palette ended up looking a little bit like the Ace flag, which I think is actually pretty fitting. I add some more details, add some color swatches for easy color picking, and then the design is essentially done. But we are not done yet because I decided to make an illustration of her, and while I'm doing that, I will tell you about the process and my headcanons for this character. I think you could already see me testing out different poses for her in the beginning. I just wanted to make sure that her pose really conveys her confidence and how comfortable she feels with the sword, while still being very elegant. Okay, now let me tell you a bit about my headcanons. Reine is a professional fencer from Fontaine, earning her money by performing elaborate duels in the most luxurious hotels and bars. She's a descendant of a noble family who she always found pretentious, resulting in her leaving them behind entirely to live her own life. Reine has an air of untouchable confidence around her, each step strategizing towards her larger goal. To what ends? We can only speculate. Now, obviously, since she's adoptable, her future owner basically gets to decide to do with her whatever they want, and that's fine. So if they don't vibe with the lore that I've come up with, that is 100% fine, and they can just change it, they can change her name. But that's just what I went with. Oh, I forgot to mention that the background I'm using for this, I actually made myself. Since Genshin has not yet released any Fontaine characters, we also don't have character backgrounds for Fontaine specifically, so I made one myself. It was a lot of effort, probably pretty unnecessary, but I'm gonna put up the Photoshop file for it for you guys, so if you're making a Fontaine character and you want to use this background, you can use it, you can recolor it, you can change the vision on it. That's totally cool. I would of course like to be credited, but you can definitely use it for whatever you like. Now let's see the finished artworks. Those are the results. I hope it was in some way helpful or entertaining. If you like this character, as I said, the auction for her will be on Instagram as soon as the video goes up. And even if you're not interested in the auction, my Instagram is a great place to kind of see what I'm working on right now and to see my newest art when I post it. If you enjoy watching my content, leave a like to let me know, and definitely subscribe to not miss out on future uploads. Also, let me know in the comments what you think about this character. Do you like her? Would you have done anything differently? I'm curious. That's all for today. Will out. Finest wigs were French. You know that Fontaine is making these. These guys are fucking dripped out as hell. I'm serious, dude. What even is this? Why?